Several minutes of commercial-free football starts now.
Here are the Purple Mortgage Guys.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Purple Mortgage Guys, coming to you after...
Oh no. You got to be kidding me. Is this really happening?
Did that just start?
We're going to have to start over.
It started, but you froze right away.
This is just like the game. We could actually roll with this. We should just roll with this, guys. This was just like the Vikings game. Things start, they stop. It's ugly. Tanner's right in the end. The Vikings score 3 points, which actually was probably a little bit of optimism way at the end, just because they finally pulled the plug on Dobbs, got Mullens in. Tanner, your bold prediction that Nick Mullens would see some meaningful snaps, or at least one, did come true. Goose, you had seen 4 sacks coming, and we saw that. Did anybody see 17 punts on the docket for today? Because we got to witness that.
Imagine that bold prediction.
We almost had history. It sounds like if we would have went to a 0-0 overtime, we would have been the first team to ever do that since overtime was instituted back in, what they say, 1974 on the broadcast. So got that going for us. We got ourselves probably a little bit of a poor man's Kirk Cousins and Nick Mullens. Tanner, I'm going to let you lead the way here, because you were kind of asking for that here already a couple weeks ago. So give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I respect KOC's decision, like I said, on our pregame show to start Dobbs. It's not who I would have went with, but I respect it. When you bring a guy in like that, you trade for him. He did start out really well those first 2 games, but you don't want to abandon a player like that so quickly. So I do understand it, even though it's not something I would have done. And I also hate the nice guy mentality that he seemed to have throughout the entire game. I definitely expected Dobbs to come in. I mean, you had 2 weeks to prep for this, and you knew that you played like crap against Chicago. So I just can't believe how flat we seemed for 3.5 quarters, whatever it was, the entire time that he was in the game, that we could not move the ball at all. And it's just mind-blowing to me. And this switch should have been made at halftime already. Go in the locker room, say we're making a switch. We need a jump start, anything to get some points. Like, you're not moving the ball. How many passing yards do you have at halftime? Like 33 or something like that?
Well, if you count sack yardage, I think we were in the negatives.
Yeah, it was maybe around 40. He ended with 63, 10 of 23. That is not a great percentage. 2.7 yards on average. Sacked 5 times for a loss of 47. That seems like that seems to be the benefit of rolling with Dobbs, is he can elude the pressure a little bit and not get in those situations. So I'm with you. There was absolutely no downside. Tanner, you joked with us that watch Mullens throw a pick 6, then I'll look really stupid. I don't know that even would have. I don't think anybody would have minded at that point. You had to try something.
I just like that he came in and he seemed aggressive right away too. His very first pass went for like 20 yards, 22 yards or something like that. Granted, it was tipped, but it's just more than we had done all game. Like, everything Josh Dobbs was doing when he was dropping back was dink and dunks, like staring down targets, and then ended up doing like a incomplete 3-yard dump or a screen that went for no gain, stuff like that. Like, you just have to be able to have some sort of jump, and making that switch is what we needed. And I mean, I got tweeted at throughout the game too, because I was tweeting after the first quarter already that I wanted them to make the switch. And, you have the casual fans that are like, oh, well, Mullens isn't going to do anything behind this offensive line either. Offensive line looked horrendous again today. Brian O'Neill's hurt. That doesn't bode well moving forward for us. But Mullens, he's a completely different QB than Dobbs, and he just offers a lot, I think, more value in the playbook to be able to do what you were doing at the beginning of the year with Kirk. And fans have to be like, take what I say with a grain of salt going forward, because he's going to throw picks. Like, he kind of has like that Brett Favre gunslinger mentality. I'm not comparing him to Brett Favre, but he's going to have situations over the course of the next 4 games, if he's the starter, where he's trying to force throws between, 2 people and trying to cut the needle, and he's going to throw picks. Like, it's just going to happen. But I think he's going to throw a lot of touchdowns as well. And I think his aggressiveness and his ability to get the ball out quickly and read the field quicker than what Dobbs does is going to be the reason we're going to have a chance to make the playoffs as opposed to leaving Dobbs in. And
yeah, I agree. I was going to say, Goose, I'll let you get your take here too. But I wanted to just add something to what Tanner said. I think some of those drops, like it would be easy to say, well, the receivers are dropping the ball. What's Dobbs supposed to do? It felt like timing was just a tick or two late, like on several of those. So I think to Tanner's point, I think Mullens makes a decision, lets it rip. Maybe it's not always the right decision, but he's not going to hesitate, maybe like Dobbs was doing there. So Goose, overall thoughts on the game? I'm sure you loved how the defense played. But overall, what were your thoughts?
Yeah. Tanner and I have talked a lot the past couple weeks on. Tanner mentioned the casual fan. Like, there's people who make content about the Vikings that completely wrote off Nick Mullens. I can't believe
Goose.
I can't believe how much he has been disrespected when I said when we signed him that I felt like he was a top 5 backup quarterback in the league, and to see him run in there and just like his drop back is just different. Like, he seemed like he had a command. He knew where he was going. He was reading the defense, and Tanner mentioned like he's going to throw picks, but with Dobbs, he was turning the ball over with very little upside. And so if you're dinking and ducking down the field and giving the ball away a ton, like you can't afford to do that. I'm bummed out because I've been excited about the Vikings defense being able to shut out a team for a long time, and to feel this bad about a game where we shut out an opponent is stinks. And we'll see, though. I wonder how many fans. There's still a lot of fans who want a mobile quarterback that are going to say, well, like Josh Dobbs isn't who I would have picked. But like, it's not that easy. Look at all the quarterbacks that are in the league, and a lot of these mobile quarterbacks coming out of the draft aren't any better. And you have to be able to throw the ball as a quarterback in the NFL.
Mobile QBs are fun. Like, they make the electric plays, and they're the reason, like, they sell tickets. They put butts in the seats. And with Dobbs, I think what we've seen over the course of the past, like since the Denver game, is Denver figured it out right away. Like, they're sending all of this heat because they know that he's not going to test the field with his arm. And when you have a mobile QB like that, if you're sending 4+ guys, where's he going to go? Yeah. And you just really limit the playbook when you can't have him like throw the ball further than 10 yards. So Mullens gives you the ability to do that. He's not going to make any plays on the ground, but he's going to make defenses respect him.
Did you guys feel the same way as soon as Mullens came in that first reception, even though there's maybe a little bit of luck involved? Did it feel like, okay, we're going to win this game? And then also, like, if you would have given Mullens that whole game, if you give him however many possessions there were, 8-9 possessions against Aiden O'Connell's 8 or 9 possessions, I feel like we win that game easily. Like, Goose, you might have gotten that 3-score win that we're going to start shooting for.
Yeah, especially if JJ didn't get sent to the hospital. So,
yeah, but you know who sent JJ to the hospital?
That's what I'm saying. If Nick Mullens is in there, yeah.
You can't blame everything on that. But that throw was super high. JJ made an awesome catch, and yeah, who knows? Hopefully, it's nothing serious.
They said I just saw a tweet that said he's back in the locker room celebrating with the team. So,
good.
Yeah.
Let's ask this while we're reactionary.
Overreactionary or reactionary?
Overreactionary.
Okay.
I still overall love KOC. I love what he's done to the culture, what he's done with the adversity of the season. But if you're Kwesi and Brian Flores says, I'm going to take a head coaching job somewhere else,
I don't want to talk about this, Goose.
I want to know what you think.
I don't want to talk about it.
I'm leaving.
I was just thinking about
I'm
that as well.
the head coach of this team. What do you do?
It's really frustrating to see a really good, like,
you got to
stay. Team could go so much further with Kirk, but we have a really, really good defense now. Like, he's taken us. We were the second to last in the league. We were 31st ranked defense last year, and we're like borderline top 10 this year. One season, relatively the entire same team, and he took us back. I mean, even without like Marcus Davenport, like, we're missing really good players. Jordan Hicks too, and it feels like we're only going to have him for one season, and that's really, really frustrating to think that we had so much promise here with a defensive coordinator that we have to add as a 1-year rental.
But the storyline was the same for everyone at the beginning of the year. Like, oh, this offense is going to be elite. It's whether or not they can carry the sorry defense far enough. Like look at who the roster is. The way Flores has played to these players' strengths and created this defense with undrafted rookies, kind of old free agents, just really pieced together defense that everyone thought was going to be the issue is the only reason we're winning games.
So you would keep Flores over O'Connell?
I love Kevin O'Connell. If I'm Kwesi and Flores comes up to me, I think as of right now, I have to.
Interesting.
And I would beg and plead with KOC to stay as the offensive coordinator. Just do a quick little flip. He wouldn't. But maybe with his nice guy mentality, maybe he'd be like, you know what? It's a good idea. I was going to propose the same thing.
I think KOC is a good coach, and every coach has a weakness, and his weakness is just, I believe in you. Like, I think there's really like a 50-50, like, there's a lot of risk with that as well. Like, there are players that are going to show you that they are worth it if you decide to bet on them. But KOC seems like he wants to do it with every single guy in the locker room. Like, there's just no giving up on anybody. And Josh Dobbs is like one of those players that's like, we know what he is. Like, he's never going to get any better than what he is right now, in my opinion. And we should have just bailed on that after the Chicago game. Like, I don't feel like there was any promise there. So
when KOC gives up on you and benches you, like, it's hard to go back to the locker room after that then, right?
You need to retire and go sell cars or do home loans.
Josh Dobbs might be just a perfect backup. He's the guy that if you don't scheme for him, and I almost think that if he gets the first team reps, he's maybe too smart to where he's overthinking everything. I think he just needs to be a spot guy who comes in and wings it and uses his abilities instead of overthinks everything.
So is Nick Mullens officially like the poor man's Kirk Cousins? Is that okay? That was my gut take on it all. But
which, after the way the year's been playing out, that means he's the poor man would have been league MVP.
So optimistic, Goose.
Kirk was amazing.
You guys, you know what I'm really nervous about? The Bengals are putting up points with Jake Browning.
Yeah.
We are going to need to score at least 24 next week to have a chance. Next Saturday, on a short week.
I think they can do it, though. I think that this is really going to pay dividends. I think that there's a good chance that we can make Cincinnati's defense respect us. I don't feel good about going to Cincinnati, but I think that we have a much better chance to win than we do with Dobbs.
Did you guys wake up today thinking we would be excited about a 3-point victory?
No.
Remember?
I thought we were going to lose.
Vikings were favored by 3. They won by 3, just how everybody thought it was supposed to play out. Do you know what's worse than winning 3-0? Losing
3-0.
3-0. Can you imagine that? What if Joseph would have missed that? Raiders would have pushed it downfield, got in range for Daniel Carlson to hit a 55-yarder. So it could be worse. We saw that Dobbs isn't the answer. We saw there's promise in Mullens. He could have stuck with Dobbs for the rest of the game. We could have lost. I don't think we would have scored. Do you? Unless the defense made a play. I don't think we would have scored.
No.
I always like to play devil's advocate on this type of scenario, though, too, because I think that there's a good chance the Raiders would have won, too, if Garoppolo was the QB and not O'Connell.
Probably.
So we won't get into that, though. Win is a win.
What about rants and raves? You guys ready for that? You guys want to rant about anybody? Rave?
Yeah. Which one do you want to do first?
Whatever you're ready for. We're putting you on the spot.
Let's do the complaining first. Let's end on a good note.
All right, let's rant a little bit first. What do you got on this?
So I'll take the
blowout victory.
Actually, Goose, do you want to go with the obvious one, or do you want me to take it?
You take it.
Yeah, Kevin O'Connell is the main complaint for me right now. I still think he's a good coach. I'm just super upset that we had to wait until a couple minutes into the fourth quarter to pull the plug on something that just clearly was not working throughout the entire game. And I still kind of question some of his play calling in like situational spots. That just doesn't make sense to me. And I can't really like get into anything without any film in front of me right now. But I just think that I think we ran a draw play on like 2nd and 12, like right at Max Crosby, I think in the first half, where I just like wanted to get off my couch and throw my TV or my remote through the TV.
Max Crosby looked like the best defensive player we've played all season, right?
Yeah, no, he's Jared Allen. Like that's exactly who he is. Like he's not even like super talented. He just has an engine that never stops.
Hold on. Do you remember when I said I think Max Crosby's going to play? We said that yesterday. Like, oh, don't worry about it, Brent. We have good tackles. Won't even be an issue.
That was me. Yeah.
Anyway,
that's my rant, though. I don't have to get into too much with KOC. I'm just the nice guy mentality needs to be dropped, and you need to be able to grow a backbone a little bit. And
do you feel like okay? So like when we have a lead late in the game, we get the ball back.
If you have the lead, it's different.
No, I know. Let me paint a picture here. We run the ball up the middle. We don't want to screw it up. So we're close. We've got the lead. You know, we're close enough, whatever. Conservative. Well, it was kind of like with Dobbs. We weren't getting blown out. So I feel like he was going to stick with Dobbs until it got to a point where like we're running out of time or we're behind in the game. We obviously never got behind, but if you would have been a little bit more aggressive on that, kind of putting the foot on the gas and at halftime, for instance, I just feel like that's his demeanor. That's kind of who he is. So, Goose, give me your rant. We had the obvious one.
Yeah, I think you guys might disagree. I don't think you will, but I think the second obvious one is Greg Joseph missed another field goal that could have been critical. I had all sorts of emotions when they were lining up to kick a 40-plus yard field goal at the end of the game. And I was going to text, and I thought I couldn't get the text out in time. I always try to text before a play so that I don't just seem like a hindsight's 2020 guy. But I was like, I don't like that we're kicking a field goal right now. And and then they snapped it to Greg Joseph, and I was like, okay, he's going to, I don't know, do a run around and take a knee, or I don't know what he's going to do. And then he pooched it in the middle of the field with a bunch of linemen on the field.
15 yards tops, right?
15 yards in the middle of the field with a bunch of linemen on the field. And I was just like, if we Viking this game up, I'm going to cry right now.
Then they start lateraling it at the end. It's like, oh no.
Yeah. No, it looked like no one was in front of Devontae at the end of that throw. But yeah, Greg Joseph, he should be benefiting from the KOCs of the world. That's just like, I'm always going to believe in you. And maybe Zimmer ruined Carlson and Walsh's career as a Viking. And you'd think a positive coach who's going to stick by your guy is going to help a kicker out. But it just seems like time and time again, Greg Joseph is really hit and miss.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, and I was saying that, Goose, when they were lining up for the field goal. I'm like, no, I don't like this at all. No. I wanted him to just run it up the middle, honestly.
Yeah,
unless it's under 40 yards. What has he made? Like 40 in a row now? Under 40, is that what they said, or under 30 yards?
I think that would have been 46, 47, though, wasn't it?
It probably is. I just heard them say some crazy statistic.
Like, he's going to miss it. Like, yeah, I was glad to see him punted, but yeah, punted in the end zone, I guess, if anything.
Yeah. When we were on the, maybe there was the one that he made, but we were on the right hash, and I was like, oh, he likes it on the left. I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah. You guys took the toughest.
There is an obvious player here, and if you don't take it, I'm gonna use a second lifeline.
You gonna say a receiver?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say Jalen Naylor or KJ Osborne, but I still wonder if it's the timing stuff's not right there. Those drops, they seem like the ball was a bit a tick late getting there. So I don't know if you want to. I mean, they're just guys. I don't think we're expecting a ton out of them, so it's tougher to hold them to the same standard, maybe. But you can piggyback on it if you want.
No, I was going to say KJ. I agree with you to an extent that I definitely think it's a timing issue, and some people might think that this is petty and stupid, but like, I played receiver before too. Obviously, not at the pro level, but like, I feel like there is something like psychologically, like when you're going out for a pass and you got a guy like Dobbs throwing you the ball. I sometimes wonder, like, the ball's coming to you And it's
They're
like
expecting to get
it's
hit.
coming here, and you're like, oh, he's actually like this is a good throw. I need to catch this, and you just like psychologically mess up and just drop it.
Yeah.
But I like regardless, these guys are pros. They should be making these catches all the time, and I just think KJ's kind of been disappointing this year based off of everything that we saw. Like so much promise last year. I think that was really his ceiling, and I don't think we'll ever see that again. I don't think he's anything more than like a wide receiver 3, like a decent wide receiver 3 at this point in his career.
It's just weird because when KJ plays well, like he has these games that are just like, I want more of this guy. And then, Brent, I agree. Like it was for sure. Some of it was timing. Some of them were behind him, but there's only so many that can hit you in the hands. And it's like, okay, you got to haul in one or two of those and make a play. Especially, but to your point, maybe, you see JJ going off to the hospital. One of the last times KJ caught a pass from Dobbs, he was unconscious. And so these guys might have it in their heads of like, oh, like I'm going to get my bell rung if he's throwing it to me. There's someone nearby.
Yeah, there definitely is like some sort of mind game, I think, with that. Like, I don't know where I'm going to like end up if I catch this ball. Like,
what do you think the locker room and the offense thinks right now? Are they all on board with Mullens, or is it tough to see your teammate get benched like that?
Yeah, these guys are pros though. Like I think Dobbs needs to be able to. Like it is definitely disappointing. Nobody wants to be benched, but even like the receivers in the room, they have to know that Mullens gives them the best chance to get the ball. I guess even going forward, like if they want a chance to compete for this team and move the ball down the field, these receivers want the ball in their hands, and Mullens gives them the best chance to do that.
I wish I knew off the top of my head, but I'm wondering, the last season the Vikings had 4 different starting quarterbacks taking meaningful snaps. That'd be back in like the
2011 maybe
Castle years even.
No?
Think of like McNabb, Ponder, Castle. Joe Webb.
That'll be a deep dive for another day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start the raves because I didn't get anything. I got the scraps for the rants here, so I'm gonna go with Ivan Pace Jr. I think he's just a super fun guy to watch. Made some big plays. Obviously sealed the game there with the pick. I don't know, just motoring everywhere on defense. Just a fun player to watch. So give him a shout out.
It's such an annoying thing about the NFL. Like these high priority free agents that everyone goes after, but they won't draft. I mean, everyone went wild on social media when we signed him about an undrafted free agent. And here he is making big plays. And it's just like, was it because he was short? Like what happened? Just pick good players. I'm kind of sick of like let's take this guy who's got the measurables, who hasn't ever done anything in college in the 4th round and doesn't really have anything to go off of. I want to pick gamers, and Ivan Pace is a gamer. How about that flip at the end of the game?
In sync. Like he's running downfield and did a backflip and just like maintained his stride. Like he didn't double strut or anything like Tyreek Hill does when he does his backflips. I was like, wow, that was...
Was that the best celebration of the day, or was the other one?
We should ask Griff what his favorite was.
We'll go with that one. Goose, give me your rave.
I'm gonna take the one I've already used this episode, and that's Brian Flores. I think with what he's working with, both when the season started and then he's had similar adversity that KOC has, to shut a team out, to not have given up a touchdown in the past 2 games. There's been countless amount of times this season where we've turned the ball over on the wrong side of the 50 and held the team to 3 points or no points. Has really just been incredible what he's done with this defense this year, and it's the reason that we're currently in the playoffs picture.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead, Tanner.
I'll just pick one, but I had like 3 role guys that I was choosing between, and I think I'll just stick with the basic guy that's been our most improved player this year, and that's Cam Bynum. I don't know why it felt like it was almost like game saving for us because they were still in their own territory. But I don't know if you guys remember the play there in the fourth quarter. I think it was one of the Raiders' last drives, actually, where I think it was 3rd and 4, and O'Connell threw past Michael Mayer, their tight end. And
he punched it out.
Just perfect timing. Just literally punched it out of his hand. And I just feel like he makes plays like that every game where he's just all over the field, causing fumbles, picking up fumbles, making picks, really good tackles, doesn't miss tackles. Like he's just been – I looked it up actually during the game. He had a 58.7 PFF grade last season. And I just thought that we were probably going to be looking at a new safety alongside Harrison Smith this year, and now he is a top 5 safety in the league this season, the best safety on our roster, and he deserves to be in the Pro Bowl this year. He's been fantastic.
Yeah. Gosh, I think we could go around again easily. I feel really.
We'll give you a bonus one. I've got a bonus one too. That
I also have a bonus.
All right, perfect.
Well, let's go again. I'm gonna go. I can't even pick.
Mine's not on defense though.
Okay,
I'm gonna give you one. AJ Cole, punter from the Raiders. I have never seen a punt like that live.
He's the best punter in the league.
Okay, yeah. I've seen some good punts, but never watching a game like that. What did that thing go? 83 yards?
88, I think they said.
I said to Griffin right before they punted, I'm like, okay, if this goes well, we could get the ball at about midfield. Yeah, touchback.
He kicks it off the length of the field.
And awfully close to getting down at the 1.
Yeah, we got pretty lucky there. And we actually got even luckier. If Brandon Powell would have touched that and that Raiders player all he had to do was recover in the end zone, we would have lost.
That would have been a way to lose. Anyway, I'm giving a shout out, a complimentary shout out to the Raiders punter.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go, since Tanner's going on offense. I pray that it's the one that I had on offense. But Josh Metellus, I think he's right there with Cam Bynum on the season. Of, when he got his contract, it was like, why did we just pay this special teamer this contract? And you could only hope, because no one's ever seen him on defense, that they had a bigger plan for him. And for him to get that role and to take full advantage of it with forced fumble, it just seems like he's everywhere.
He's our utility player.
Yeah, he's Flores' Swiss Army knife, which I think everyone kind of thought was going to be Harrison Smith. He's kind of got that peanut punch down, where I feel like there's been a ton of times on the season where he's come in and punched that ball out. But it's super fun to watch him play. You also hear like he's a really good guy off the field, and the more you can have on your team like that is fun to watch and root on.
Yeah. What do you got?
Mine's going to go to, I don't know if it's Quessenberry or Casenberry, but I'm going to go David Quessenberry in absence of Brian O'Neill. Brian O'Neill was obviously struggling quite a bit with Max Crosby, and I did notice Quessenberry a couple times on the drives that Mullens was playing where he held his own against Max Crosby on an island. And I think that's huge to be a backup tackle and to come in and have really high expectations to block arguably the best D end in the league right now. Top 3 for sure. But that's a huge task. And for him to come in and just do enough for us to move the ball and get down and get a field goal to get the win is huge. So props to him.
What game earlier this year did he have to come in for Darisaw?
He started a game. He started a game, I think, earlier this year.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I think Darisaw was planning on going, and then in
Chicago, I think, wasn't it? In Chicago?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember.
Yeah, either way.
It
would have been nice to have Ezra Cleveland today. Would have been nice to be able to plop in there. Although I think he got hurt earlier today too with the Jaguars. So, Goose, I do have to do a wellness check. See if you're okay. We did not have any good-looking turnovers today. Are you still okay with that?
I'm good. I'm good with it.
Still okay with that. We didn't turn the ball over.
I can't believe we had 6 raves and none of them were for Nick Mullens. We kind of got it out of our system ahead of time, but
thank you for saving the game.
I think what Brent said with like how's the locker room, I think he did a good job to make sure that it's nothing but support for Mullens. Like, you go in and win that game, the fact that he's been here for 2 years, I think if anything, there had to be guys in the locker room going like, why aren't we playing Nick Mullens?
You know what is really nice is that the change already happened mid-game. And now if we would have won 3-0, but Dobbs got through the whole game, then it's like, well, he won the game. A win's a win. Mm-hmm. Can't really pull the plug. Now it's like, okay, we got that out of our system. We can move forward. So
no press conferences about it. Yeah.
No, definitely. I do want to give one more rant, though. I don't think Dean Blandino knows what a catch is, just for the record.
Yeah, he's had a few of those this year.
Anything to close us out, guys? Else we'll look forward to a Saturday game against the Bengals. I think Jake Browning's okay. He just had a cramp or something. He came out for a few plays, but Jake Browning's looked good. Bengals offense has kind of come alive. Our defense against that offense, that'll be a fun storyline. Nick Mullens hopefully getting his first start will be a fun storyline. And got some meaningful late December, early January football to talk about. And that Packers game, New Year's Eve, becomes bigger and bigger here as these weeks tick on. So, guys, anything to close us out for tonight?
We had 2 bold predictions hit on
We
one
did.
episode.
We had Nick
be a
Mullens
first.
getting a meaningful snap, and we had 4 sacks, thanks to Goose. We did not have, you guys aren't going to believe this, we did not have a Madison and a JJ touchdown both. And Goose, I'm sorry, we did not score 31 points to be able to win 31-17.
We won. We won.
A win's a win, right? 17
Yeah.
punts. You don't get to see that every day, an 83-yard punt. So we'll take it. We'll move on, and we'll be back again here before you know it to talk a little preview of the Bengals game. Have a great Sunday night, great week, everybody, and we will talk to you again soon.